Should have got the quote up. Welcome to episode 24 of the Decompression Chamber. I'm your host, Mario. But our opening quote is from the psychologist Carl Jung. The quote goes, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Roll the intro.
Into me, no doubt that I'll never be without my damn brain. Closed mouth, I'm clever and I know my damn shame. No cloud to the better, no one know my damn name. No bow, that shit what I guess.
Yeah, I really like that quote. Obviously, the whole thing that it's about is thinking about the stuff you don't think about, Quite often I've found in my life that the areas of my life that most needed improving, the ones that most needed looking at, were the areas that I wouldn't use my introspective powers to look at. I'd willingly skirt around the topic. I'd avoid thinking about it because it made me uncomfortable, and those were the kind of reasons why they developed into bigger problems. So yeah, you've got to think about what you are, think about what you don't think about. I don't know, it's a bit of a strange one, but yeah. I hope you're having a good whatever it is for you. This is currently like the first Sunday of what is technically a half term for me, which means I'm still doing the same bullshit as ever, but I don't have as many video lectures. Yeah, it's hard to keep that every day is a gift mentality when every day is the same. I feel like if I was given the same mediocre gift on repeat, eventually I'd get sick and tired of it. But it's not a very good metaphor because I'm very lucky enough to feel comfortable, safe, and happy at home. It's just, yeah, obviously I want to be doing practical stuff for uni, but you don't get everything that you want in life unless you're rich. But even then, that's not always the case. That was just a bit of a tangent that my brain decided to take me on. But yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. I haven't filmed a video for a couple of days. It's not like I haven't had anything to say, but truthfully, the most of yesterday, I was thinking about the UFC fights, because they just happen. Basically, for anybody who's not in the know, I'm a big fan of MMA. Like, it's probably my favourite sport if you pushed me. In my opinion, the sport is much more exciting, much better to watch live when you don't know how long a fight's going to last, when anything can end at any moment, And if the fights are happening in the States, that means I've got to stay up, often with my friends till like 3, 4, 5, even 6 a.m., which, yeah, can often be quite difficult. Often just phasing in and out of reality as I'm waiting for each fight to go by, and that's the thing. I like all the fights all throughout. It's why I prefer MMA to boxing, because you can consistently get good fights throughout the night, but we're not built to stay awake like that. At least I don't successfully do it very often. I mean, I stay up, but the next day I always feel fucked up, and that's where I am now. I've spent most of the day in bed, not like I don't already, but in a state where it's not even like I'm awake and think, and I'm literally just in a vegetative state in my bed. Though I guess a vegetative state is a good way to describe me when I'm at home in general. Oh, just got water in my eyes somehow. But yeah, I noticed in my last video my voice just sounded like very tired because I just didn't drink any water throughout. So yeah, you got to keep your throat lubricated, folks. And don't take that video clip out of context, please. But yeah, what was I talking about? Something stupid, I guarantee it. Oh yeah, no, just being tired. The fights, it was Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. If for anyone who cares, I was actually very impressed by the champion Kamaru Usman's performance. He got knocked down early in the first round by the challenger, who was formerly his teammate, and then he came back and he just jabbed him up and put him away. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about watching a fight live where anything can happen, and then each moment feels like has so much gravity to it. Like, you don't know whether someone's going to knock someone out with a punch, push them against the cage and take them down to the ground and dominate them there, or various other things that can happen in an MMA fight. I mean, I have to contextualize this as well with the fact that, like, I would do terribly in any fight. I've only ever been in one quote-unquote organized fight, which was with a friend, shout out to you, Jack, where it was just a boxing match, but it was just two boxing gloves, a mouthpiece, and some idiots in someone's games room where they just had enough room to host a series of boxing fights between us. But it was an experience for sure. But I'm no athlete when it comes to combat sports, and it means that when I watch people fight for sport, for money, for all of that they fight for, it's that much more impressive to me, because I know that I don't have the willpower, determination, or skill, or athleticism. So like there's 10 different aspects of life where I can admire those kind of sporting stars. But yeah, I stayed up through the night to watch the fights. It was a bit of an card. There's one coming up in March, which is going to be so cowabunga. Like, there's 3 title fights, and the final fight of the night is where very famous champ Israel Adesanya is going to move up and fight the champ in the weight division above. So it's like it's always good for me to just look forward to those Saturday nights where I'm trying to stay bleary-eyed awake, watching the streams illegally on my laptop, despite the fact that Dana White would hate that. Yeah, but it's part of who I am now. As funny as that is to say, it is part of me. Like, I love watching it, and a huge part of like my browsing the internet is just being interested in MMA and all the surrounding culture. I've seen it likened to pop culture, but not pop culture, sorry, soap operas, but for guys, where like there's a storyline and there's beef and there's intrigue and there's stuff that happens, but at the end of it they get to scrap, which is the perfect resolution always, because that's the thing. It's like, shows and movies can be bullshit and changed and worked around and wriggled around, but in a fight it is just a pure fight. There's no, like, especially MMA, where there's so much freedom for where the fight can go. It's like there is no like wrong ending. It's just however the fight plays out, that's how it should have been. Yeah, it's just great. But I mean, I just wanted to talk about as well, like, I fucking hate people who leave 4-star reviews on shit. I know this is a handbrake turn, but like, I've been looking for some slippers online because my feetsies get coldsies in winter, and I don't know why I phrased it like that, but yeah, there's people who just leave like a 4-star review, then just put like, best slippers I've ever had, like super comfortable, great durability, and gives me lots of warmth to my feet, but then they just leave 4 stars. It's like, this is totally screwing my brain. I want all the reviews to be 5 stars, so that I know that when I buy this fucking item of clothing online, it's not gonna come like wafer thin and bendy and a piece of shit. So I have to hope all that works out. I don't know, I just had a sudden urge to speak about 4-star reviews, but it's like, it's either, if you're leaving a review, it should probably just be because it's good. Like, if it's bad, I'm just like, send it back, and I don't feel like I have the personal responsibility to warn others, but there are some heroes out there who have prevented me from making bad mistakes, so I guess I can't even be too pissed. But it's like, I get it if you're going on there to leave a bad review, or even like an altogether good review, but to go out your way to give like a pretty good review, it's like, do we really need to hear that? I don't know, maybe I'm just being judgmental, but yeah, I mean, I suddenly felt the urge to speak about that, and I guess a final thought I was gonna leave you with is just, I've been thinking recently about like, childhood, growing up, all of that, how like, when you're growing up, it's almost like you exist in this little bubble of reality. You see the world in a certain way. You don't know the horrors that might be going on like close by, or you don't know necessarily all the reasons why certain things are happening around you. And it's like, it's almost like when we're, maybe I'm just speaking from my perspective, someone who is very like, relatively just good, safe, happy life. So it's like kind of very sheltered, very privileged bubble. So it's like, almost like as I got older, it was like the layers of that illusion that everything was fine and everything was safe in the world and there was no bad, it kind of got peeled back layer by layer, And I guess I've been thinking about like where the main turning point of that is, like from the perspective of being an adult now, where there's a lot of shit that I'm not well informed on. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not aware enough about, but I feel like in general I have a better defined image of the world in my head. So it's like, yeah, I've just been thinking about where was that turning point where, I stopped having that belief that everything was as safe as, I made it out to be, kind of in my brain. When was that bubble of like protection and safety and nothing ever being bad burst? And was it even there in the first place? I don't even know whether that makes sense. But I'm interested in what other people's perspectives will be on that. And I'm interested in hoping that the next day will be better, even if this one ain't great. Personally, this one's been pretty good for me, even though I describe myself to be in a vegetative state. And just know that if you're in a place where you're not altogether too great, it can get better. Yes, have a good one. Lots of love.
For the shade, I don't wanna give myself no option, so I drop the visor just to wake up. Ain't no tripping over pay stubs, ain't no tripping on the vague stuff. All the things that I can make up, I'm a thinker, not a maker. Wait. No grayer I see, never think about the consequences if you hate 'em.